Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. So glad you guys are joining me today as I get my Easter notes into my traveler's notebook from the sermon from my church that we had this last weekend. Obviously, we were doing church from home, watching online, so I will link the service down below so you guys can watch it for yourselves. As always, I try and do as good of a job as I can relaying the message, but nothing beats my pastor as far as how he delivers the message. So I definitely encourage you to check it out for yourself. I'm using some printables and then just some various stickers. Like this sticker book that I'm using, I think came from the dollar spot at Target, and just has like various colored alphabet stickers. So I'm using that. I'm using some stamping, just some different things down on the page. This set that I'm cutting out these crosses from are the From Where I Stand crosses in the Print Pray shop. I will link their shop down below. All of my printables that I use are from there, and I love printing it, as you guys know, on my clear sticker paper, so it will just melt right onto the page, and it's great little layering piece. That's how I'm doing these little florals as well from the Where I Stand kit. Just printed on the clear sticker paper as a little layering piece underneath my little journaling cards. So with COVID-19 happening, our pastor just really wanted us to talk about how we can hang on to hope, especially during this Easter season. And he gave us two main points that really kind of hone in on how we can kind of have hope in this uncertain time. And the first one that he talked about is where we have to believe that we are more than a conqueror, because Jesus paid the ultimate price, and he did that because we are worth it. And he talked about value and how something is only as valuable as someone will pay for it. And then he related it obviously back to the cross and how God sent Jesus to pay it all. And he did that because we're worth it, and he wanted us to have eternal life in him. So that was something that I definitely wanted to get down into my traveler's notebook. But he also talked about how having trials and tribulations does not mean the absence of God. And he kind of went through and gave us this little Venn diagram. You can kind of see off to the right my little sketch in the bright pink circle down there on my iPad. But he kind of created this Venn diagram where on the left side he had all of the things that we face, such as tribulation and distress and famine and danger, and how we're kind of in the center of it. We are definitely in the middle of it. We are going through it. And then the second circle that he created was God. And so God overlaps into you, and he is also in all of those trials and tribulations with us. And so I wanted to also recreate that Venn diagram in my traveler's notebook. And in order to do that, I wanted as close to perfect circles as I possibly could, but I also wanted it to be big enough to fit what I wanted to get into it. So you could see I kind of went and I was like, oh, will I trace the sticker? Could I trace the washi tape? Ultimately decided to trace the washi tape and got everything to fit so I could have that kind of illustration in my traveler's notebook. So in that top journaling card, I just said, we are tempted to ask God where he is, but Easter is a time to remember because God is for you even when everything is against you, which he preached a lot from Romans chapter 8, especially towards the end of that chapter. And so that's why I kind of wanted the Romans 8 larger on my page so I can remember that a lot of these sentiments were connected to that chapter. And here at the bottom, I'm just connecting it to Philippians 4:13, which he also mentioned that, God is strengthening us. And so I just wanted to have a sentiment in there that says God faces it with us, that we are not alone, and that he is right there in the middle with us. And he knows the outcome, and he also knows that you're completely worth it. When I'm doing a traveler's notebook page like this, I like to kind of have a color palette. So I used those hearts on the top of that journaling card as kind of my starting point for my color palette, and then obviously the crosses. But then I like to kind of mix my handwriting with some calligraphy mixed with stamping and stickers, and I think it just makes it all very, very interesting. So you can see here I'm writing the title, Believe You Are More Than a Conqueror, and that's what I'm gonna kind of stamp out. And I wanted the word conqueror to stick out, but I also knew that I didn't want it too big because I wanted it to still be able to fit as part of that sentiment. So I write that as my title and then leave a little bit of space just so it's separated from my other points that I wanted to make. And I'm writing, maybe you are underestimating the human value. Jesus paid the ultimate price because we are worth it. And I'm just, again, going to be mixing some old alphabet stickers from different kits that I have in order to get those main points and those main words down on my page to where they stick out when you look at the page as a whole. And something else that my pastor talked about was the logic of God's grace. And people are like, well, like, my problems are too small, or this isn't something that God can handle, or it's too minuscule and it's not going to make a difference. There are people that need more than I need. And his logic was that God is doing he already did the hard thing in sending Jesus and giving his only son. And if he can do the hard thing, then he can most certainly do the easy and the small things and the things that are of our earthly wants and desires, and he can eliminate those. And I just thought that that was so powerful. He said, if someone is willing to give you a house and, give that to you, you would assume that they would also be willing to give you toilet paper, and he made that kind of reference. And it was just kind of funny how, yes, if someone's willing to do that, then obviously they're going to be willing to, hook you up with the small things. And same with, like, if someone buys you season tickets to your favorite team, they're probably also able to then get you a hot dog at the game. And so he just kind of related that back to, if God did the hard thing already for us, then he can do whatever we need him to do, and he's willing to do that as well. And so I wanted to get that sentiment down on my page, and then just kind of connect my pages together, add a couple more crosses, add some washi tape, add a couple more flowers, get the date down on the page, just kind of add those finishing touches and fill in that white space. And I really liked how this turned out, and I think it's going to be really special to be able to look back at this Easter and see just kind of how times were during right now, and how things are changing, and how things hopefully go back to normal. Hopefully this isn't the new normal, but I know that God has us in all of it, and that he's going to take care of us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little entry, and I hope that you will subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Ro Writes, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.